Hey everyone, Adam Perry here with TrueDFS. I'm going to go over today's 8-game NHL DFS slate. I'm going to be a little bit quicker than normal. As you can hear, I'm still a little bit under the weather, so we'll get into it real quick and go through our process. It's the same process I do every day. It's a process show, not a pick show. So you should be able to get an idea after a few times how what I do can help you and how you can integrate it into your process or start a process from scratch and what these tools can do. So like and subscribe. It helps us out. Check out TrueDFS.com to get access to all the tools. That's my plug. You'll see what they could do for you. And let's get started. I'm just going to go through projections. We'll do a couple hand builds before we get in to using SaberSim to build lineups using the play-by-play and contest sims. Now, we've seen every day Edmonton comes up as like the top plays, but it's really, really tough to get him in. I'm just, for the sake of being different, I won't do it this time. You could see Carolina also kind of bunching up with these correlated guys. So I am going to go ahead and see what we could build with Carolina. So line one should be, this should just already be a lot easier than Edmonton if you want to get EV1. And if you want to go for like the power play, you get Nikishin, who's going to be the power play quarterback, really cheap with Ghost Despair out. And you could throw in an Ehlers, who's down on line 3, but on the power play, you could kind of do that. It's a good spot against Chicago. Now let's see who our top goalie looks like. Gustafsson. So, we have plenty to get him in. He's not cheap, but you can do it. We'll wait for the late night hammer. Hope for a good one against Detroit. Detroit always puts up some good shot volume too. So there you have the makings of the start of a lineup. Let's see if there's any Minnesota guys. Kaprizov stands out, but he's real expensive. Quinn Hughes, same thing. Zuccarello, a little bit cheaper. And let's see if there's any point per dollar plays that stand out on either of these teams. Sean Walker stands out. He's going to be, he won't be with Nikishin, but he would correlate with our stack. If you wanted to just onslaught him, you could go something like that. And then can we get Minnesota guys? We could get Zuccarello to correlate with Gustafsson. He was popping as a pretty good value. Then you see what you could do otherwise. Don't have to go that route, though. Let's see. Who else looks like Matt Duchene looks like a good point per dollar play. Keandre Miller we forgot about. So we can get Keandre Miller in there instead of Walker. If we wanted to do the onslaught. Middlestead looking pretty good on Boston. Min price. So you can get like a Middlestead in there. Then you could do a little bit more for Minnesota. And you could do like Quinn Hughes, something like that. So Carolina is going to be popular, right? There's a lot you could get done with them. We'll see when we use SaberSim. That's the real exercise, right? This is just a kind of exercise and getting an idea for who's on what line. And, sometimes we've had to look at shift charts and things. It helps our no puck knowledge. And sometimes we see things that aren't in the projections and we look at news and stuff like that. So that's where that helps. This helps us out and why I integrate it as part of my process, right? This is the process I do right before lock. See if anyone else. Minnesota does kind of stand out. Let's see what you could get if you play Minnesota. They got some injuries, right? I think Joel Eriksson Ek is out, and his Boldy's out, right? So I don't know if Eriksson Ek's going to play. I haven't checked news today. You got to take a look out for him and Johansson. I'll look at news a little bit later, but let's assume she is in. Let's see. I think we can assume he's out. He's not being projected by the industry. So if you went Kaprizov, Zuccarello, I imagine Hartman could get on power play 1 or Johansson. I imagine you get Hartman there. So then you get the full correlation. Could you play him with Gustafsson? Yeah. Then who are these top point per dollar plays that we liked? Duchesne, Hampus, Lindholm. So let's get like a Lindholm and a Middlestead. Hampus, Middlestead. Got plenty. You could really do some things with Minnesota. I imagine the same thing applies. They get pretty high owned because of that. Let's jump over to SaberSim and run the play-by-play and contest sims. I'm going to use Goldie's projections for the play-by-play sims. I'm also going to switch to his ownership. That's not going to affect the play-by-play sims, but it is it's factored into Saber Score. We're going to use contest sims. I could get into an explanation of all that. I don't think we need to now. I want to explain why I'm only going to build 4 threes and above, because I just get asked this the most. I'll also say I'm building for the poke check. I'm going to build for 150 max. I just have it in here as 1 so I can do that. It's just the way SaberSim does things when you load up your contest that makes it easier to do. Now I'm only going to build 4 threes and above because they just grade so much better in the post-contest sims. I could build plus EV lineups that are less correlated. That's true, but I only get 5,000 lineups, so I could build a lot of junk if I build in lineups that are, less than 4-3. And I want as many, potential plus EV candidate lineups in my pool of 5,000 as I can get. And so I'm going to just tell that pool to be 4-3 and above. That's going to be the easiest sort of way to do it. So it's a bit of a heuristic way. But I think the logic makes sense. So yeah, we'll see where we get. Don't forget, again, like and subscribe helps us out. Check out TrueDFS.com. I mean, really, I make this plug every day, right? I mean, if you watch this for a few days, you've heard the plug already. So you get Sheets' projections, Goldie's projections, the pay dirt model for DFS, but also for prop betting that has returned a really strong ROI in NHL prop bets. You get all of that for like $20 more than it would cost just for SaberSim alone. So, I mean, the price is right. It's like three sites in one. I really recommend checking it out. There are trials. So go ahead and see what you guys see if you like what I'm doing here. What we're doing is running play-by-play sims of the games, right? They're Monte Carlo simulations. So we're saying if this event happens, and it happens at this probability, what's the probability of the next event being an assist, a goal, a shot on goal, a save? And it just runs those probabilities hundreds of thousands of times to get the outcomes of the games. And with those outcomes of the games known, you can get average fantasy point scores. So that's how the fantasy points are questioned. Now we're uploading our own projections, so it's moving those averages, right? It's moving the curve and the distribution over. So now let's go ahead and we're going to run a contest sim. So we're going to say, okay, if we're running against these other lineups in the poke check and they do what we think they're going to do, they run, combinations of stacks in the way we think they're going to do them, the frequencies, aka the ownership at the rate we think they're going to do that. How would these lineups we just built, how would they perform in that contest with its payout structure and so on? And we get an ROI number and we rank our lineups by ROI, and then we diversify. So we say, okay, how do we diversify this portfolio such that the lineups aren't competing with each other, such that it keeps us in the game longer by giving us exposure to a lot of different areas and good teams, lower probability teams, and so on. And so I hope those explanations help. If not, throw a question in chat. I'm happy to explain more. But that's exactly what we're doing here, right? So play-by-play sims, contest sims, and diversifier. And I'm going to go ahead and build a portfolio of 150 lineups and diversify accordingly. And I do this every day, not just the videos, but this is my process 10 minutes before lock. I play single entry, so I do it for just one lineup. I play in like the 121 or the 12 bucks, something like that. Don't ask me why. But I just prefer that than to MMEing, just to control for news and stuff like that. I get busy stuff right before lock, and haven't even been playing as much lately because of that too. But that's another story. So we've got 150 lineups built and diversified. Let's see where we're getting to exposures wise. Bouchard at the highest rate than Montreal. Hudson, Suzuki. You get McDavid in there. Ehlers in there. And then Hyman. So a lot of Edmonton. No, the question is, are we going to get – I doubt we get Edmonton onslaughts at a high rate. Maybe. But they're going to be tough to fit in. Can you fit in 4 stacks? Kind of. We've got some of them. But, yeah, none of these onslaughts – not none, but not very many Edmonton onslaughts. They're just too hard to figure in. Get in there. You get a lot of Winnipeg. Columbus has 4-mans. Carolina has 4-mans. Some Carolina 5-mans in there as well. Let's take a look at individual skaters. We looked at Bouchard, some Montreal guys. So Montreal not getting in tons of stacks, but as one-offs, Hudson, Suzuki making it in. Probably same as Ehlers. That makes sense to me. Especially Suzuki, who plays a ton of time on ice relative to the rest of Montreal. He kind of fits the mold you want in a one-off. So that makes sense. Let's see goalies. Really spread out. Akira Schmid, Hari, Hellebuck, Jack Reeves, Seelovs, all kind of spread out. So there you have it. This is my process. This is what I do. If you like what I do, like and subscribe. Check it out again, and maybe you'll learn how to integrate it in your process or build one from scratch. Check out TrueDFS.com. You can get access to all these tools, and you do it for hockey, you do it for basketball, baseball soon. The end of the football season, still got a couple slates left, and if you count Showdown. And yeah, there you have it. We'd love to have you, and come join us in Discord. We're always chopping it up. And like and subscribe. I think I said that. And good luck on today's slate. Let's make some money.